Alright, welcome to Season 1, Week 5 LMP2 track guide here at International Speedway. This week, air temp will be cool, right around 20 degrees Celsius, with the track temps ranging from anywhere from 30 to 37 degrees Celsius, depending on cloud cover. This should provide probably a normal amount of grip, but it's still hot enough where it can be a problem for some. Before we get into track guide here, though, here are the Sugar Hill tips of the week. First one being, be careful at turn 1, lap 1. Even in the 24, sometimes it can be a little bit dodgy. The track's pretty wide here, especially going into turn 1. It's a big braking zone, so people will just try to send it. So just be careful of that. Keep your nose clean. Second tip is learn how to effectively slot in, especially for the chicane on the backstretch. There's always going to be a give and take with traffic, but with the speeds there, it's pretty high risk. So, losing a few seconds is better than getting 5+ minutes of repairs. And the third and last tip is to just avoid all the penalties this week. Try to avoid the 100x penalty, as well as, try to avoid the track cut penalty. If, coming out of the chicane, you can get, a 1 or 2 second there, as well as avoid speeding in the pit lane. With how much speed you're carrying down the front stretch, it's definitely easy to bring in a little too much speed, and then you get that drive through or 40-second penalty. With all these tips and a little bit of luck, a little bit of pace, you'll definitely be ahead of the rest. All right, let's move on to the track guide. Moving down to turn 1, what you want to look out for here is this little stoplight on the right hand side and this little dash. Really what you want to do is start braking as soon as you're about parallel with this dash here. About 80% pressure, then just slowly drop it down to 50% in. Your apex here is just past the tires, on this pit wall here. When you get past that tire, you can start throttling up and just run this all the way wide to the curb. Try to minimize all the track here, take a little bit of curb on the right and left, and we'll make our way down to the International Horseshoe. Here you start braking, and it's a little bit more easier to see in the cockpit. So when this little access road here on the right hand side is fully visible past the windshield wiper, or fully on the right hand side of the windscreen, that's when you want to start braking. Going into the International Horseshoe, really is just long, kind of 80% pressure, and then just bleed it off. I like to have the car positioned on this gray splotch here, a little bit early of an apex, but just kind of settles the car. And then just getting on a throttle nice and slow, coming out of here, and letting it run as wide as you can. You can use all this curb here on the exit, and all this bit of tarmac here. Really just trying to maximize your speed going down to turn 4 and 5. Turn 4 here, really it's flat out. When it's raining, this gets pretty slick, so you might have to just do a little bit of lift here, so you don't go off into the grass. Braking here starts right in the middle of this access road here on the left hand side. This is about 85% pressure, and you start your turn in fairly early, just because that's the way the track starts to go. And your goal here is to meet an apex that feels pretty late. It's about middle of this lower tone rumble strip, and you want to start throttling up fairly early, trying to keep it to the right hand side of the track and let it run out to the curb. Making our way to the turn 6, getting onto the oval. You start braking here just as you pass, the second access road, just as this starts. Another about 80% brake pressure, and then start turning in right when you pass this curb on the right hand side. Take as much curb here as you can. You can definitely put 2 tires in on the dirt, but it definitely upsets the car. So you definitely want to try to keep the minimum speed up, try to cut the track as much as you can, but your goal here is to get as much traction so you can carry all the speed down to to the chicane. What you do here, get onto the throttle fairly hard and let this run all the way out past the curb. Um, Later in the race, this might not be possible. There might be a lot of marbles here, but during qualifying, this should be fairly clean, and you should be able to run it just past this, minimizing your steering inputs and just carrying a lot more speed. If you can put it past that curve, you can actually gain about a tenth or two, carrying all that speed down to the chicane. I'll speed this up here.
Is your birthday October, November, or December?
Alright, moving down to the chicane. This is the last tricky bit of the track. You start braking here right around the 1. It's about 70-80% pressure. Not too much, just enough to shave off your speed. You want to use as much of the yellow here on the first corner. And then your goal here is to set yourself up to keep this to the right-hand side of the chicane as much as possible. Putting your car completely over the yellow and a little bit onto the white part of the curb. Like I said, you really want to keep it to the right-hand side of the chicane as much as possible, and aim yourself for this next curb here, where you just put the right-hand side on the white, as well as keep your constant steering input here, so then you're not going to get off track here. Now, right here, you can actually put the left-hand side of the car pretty much completely on the white. This is about as far as you can go without getting off track. If we see here, you want to try to keep your car in a relatively straight line. Any more to the left-hand side, and this would be at off track. When we're talking about pit lane, uh, avoiding the pit lane penalty, once when this starts turning in, kind of use that as your reference to like get on the brakes pretty hard. If you get on the brakes right around here, when that starts to turn, you should be able to shave off enough speed to get into pit lane just fine. And that's a lap here at Daytona. This was a 134.119. If you liked the video, please just like, comment, and subscribe. And have a great rest of your day. Bye.